Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Time. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook. It is a pleasure to greet you this Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, October 15. I am so happy to be here with you this morning. Yes, even as I scratch my nose and if I was watching myself, I would want to play a drinking game where every time I pick my nose or every time I fix my headphones or scratch my head or otherwise engage. And I always say to myself, Paco, just keep your hands down. And see, it doesn't happen. Anyhow, here we are to connect again. I hope everybody's having a wonderful morning. It is slightly cooler than yesterday, or so I wish to believe. It feels lovely in the house. So I can sense, I can imagine, I can almost admit that the weather is changing. Not yet, but you can start sort of kind of feeling it. It's that hopeful wish that we have at this time of the year, as you well know if you are here. And I know that some of you that are coming back in the near future are asking questions to mutual friends. So is the weather going to get its act together by the time we get there? The answer is just keep your fingers crossed. It's getting better every day. So today we have some news, some updates. I have crochet update, yay, to share with you in case you're wondering what I've been hooking lately. So let us get started with the news. And this may seem like a repeat of yesterday's news. Yesterday we announced that the Pitillal Cultural Center was going to be removed. That's what Mayor Munguía said, and very quickly, he changed his mind. Pitillal residents and other concerned citizens were quick to react to the news, such that Mayor Munguía had no choice but to do a 180 over the closing of the Pitillal Cultural Center. The organization will now be restructured to optimize its facilities and strengthen the collaboration between culture and business development. And how or when this is going to happen? Well, Mayor Munguía said keep an eye on announcements from Guadalupe Maria Gomez Basulto, who is the new director of the Puerto Vallarta Cultural Center. Now, if you look at this interesting photograph, this is an aerial shot of the Pitillal Cultural Center. I've visited it, and it is huge. It is a huge building, such that one even wonders, why is the Pitillal Cultural Center so big and Puerto Vallarta just doesn't have something as large? So it'll be interesting to see what kind of plans our new government has in terms of culture in general, and this facility in particular. We'll keep our eyes open for that one. And another bit of news that made me roll my eyes ever so slightly, not quite roll, but do you remember Abasolo Street in El Centro? This is the street that gets you as close as you can get on a vehicle to the La Cruz vantage point, the point in which you start climbing all those steps to get up to the top of the hill. Now, it was a dirt road for many years, and then an initiative a couple of administrations ago, during which Luis Munguía was a council member, turned the street into a semi-paved motorcycle or quad vehicle path. And then the construction was stopped. Then it was started again a few months ago. We even announced it here in Coffee and Headlines. And I assume it kept happening, or maybe it was stopped again because the city ran out of money. Long story short, there was a ceremony and it has been kick started again, with Munguía on the helm. Of course, that is the neighborhood in which he grew up. So the street will be widened enough for motor vehicles to be able to travel through it, but we don't have any more details about when this will be concluded or what the investment was. I think I may have read it was 4 million pesos, but it remains a little bit interesting to see why this is restarted again and not just continued. And now this.
Join us as we honor the extraordinary life and musical achievements of Carole King, one of the most influential songwriters and performers of our time. From her early work in the Brill Building, where she penned hit songs for some of the biggest stars, to her solo career that produced a timeless album, Tapestry, we will explore the milestones that have shaped her remarkable journey. Discover the soulful threads that weave through her songs, her activism, and her enduring influence on music today. Relax in air-conditioned comfort as we celebrate the genius of Carole King, an artist whose tapestry continues to inspire generations. As always, the meeting is at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork on Thursday, October 24 at 5 p.m. See you there, and thanks for sharing.
Actually, even before we get started with the news and fresh out of the Carole King promotion, I really should have thought wisely about that presentation and finding out all the wonderful nuggets of knowledge and information that I have found so far about the creation and production of the Tapestry album alone. Forget for a moment all the rest of her amazing career. Tapestry itself and its genesis is enough for a big music appreciation presentation. But we'll have a lot of fun. What a talented woman Carole King is. It'll be such a pleasure to go there. One way or another. We may end up focusing a lot of time on Tapestry just because, she was recording Tapestry in one of the studios at A&M Records, while Johnny Mitchell was in the other studio and the Carpenters were recording Close to You in the other studio. And just a few blocks away, James Taylor was recording an album at another studio, and they were all providing, they were all providing collaborative efforts in each other's albums. Mitchell singing background vocals with James Taylor playing guitar on Carole King's album, Carole King playing piano on James Taylor's album. What I'm saying is the amount of creative juice that was flowing from the recording studios in Los Angeles at the time was amazing. But I digress. It was and still is time for the weather. Let's see what's going on out there. Ooh, it's deer migration season. Let's see how many you can hit with your car. That doesn't sound very kind. Although I did see a news item of a jaguar that was killed on the new Guadalajara to Puerto Vallarta highway the other day. That made me very sad. It is 30 degrees right now. Humidity is at 72%. And our forecast for today says clear skies in the morning with partially cloudy skies in the afternoon, a high of 32 and a low of 23. Very little rain. Tomorrow, Wednesday, humid with mostly clear skies throughout the day. Even less rain, only 5% chance of rain, a high of 32 and a low of 23. And then Thursday, mostly clear skies in the morning with rain in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 40%, a high of 32 and a low of 23. And moving right along, let's see what else we have. Oh, this has nothing to do with anything, but it may have something to do with something. And that was very poetic. that even requires one of these. Boom, boom. There you go. So I found this awesome photo in a bulletin board from the city of Melaque or the town of Melaque, and check it out. It's a bunch of buckets and a sign that says, "Help keep our island clean. Take a bucket, fill it with litter, bring it back, and receive a free beer or appetizer." Now, I don't know the profit margin of giving away beers at restaurants, but it totally made me think of how many restaurants. Well, it made me think primarily of the Isla Rio Cuale. What a great place to implement something like that in case somebody wants to go there. And what a great idea to implement anywhere else. I just thought I'd share that with you for inspiration. Yesterday, we announced this. We announced that the Friendship Club was looking for volunteers, and we also announced that the Hook the Cure fishing tournament also needed volunteers, and I got a really nice note from Gary Green saying that he got volunteers from the cluster. So thank you very much, cluster, for following through and getting involved. I love volunteering because it gives us such a great opportunity to connect with other people. So good for you. I also wanted to tell you, we didn't get around to this yesterday, but on Sunday afternoon, when I came down from the mountains with my friends, we chose to have breakfast at a place that I have seen advertised, but I have not enjoyed before, at least not until Sunday. And the name of the place is Soco's Place in Colonia Emiliano Zapata. This great breakfast place had just relocated back to the location where it used to be. It moved away for some time while the place was being rebuilt and improved. This is at the corner of Madero Street and Jacarandas. It is a very traditional Mexican breakfast place with big open windows and just a great vibe. I must confess, and I'm guilty as charged, when my friends first suggested, "Oh, let's go to this place. They just reopened in Colonia Emiliano Zapata, and it's really wonderful." Guilty as charged. I'm jaded. Whenever I think of new restaurants in Emiliano Zapata, I think, well, it's going to be expensive. But I tell you, this was not. It was very affordable, traditional Mexican restaurant. I had a machaca for breakfast, and it was beautiful. So I want to show you a couple of photos. I didn't take any food photos, but I went looking for the place just now in Google Maps, on Google Maps, and it's funny because the photo on Google Maps has not been updated. This is the place when it was being constructed, so you can see the big difference. The new Soco's Place even has a small table on the sidewalk if you want to have breakfast right on the sidewalk. That looks like fun. The inside is painted in white and orange. Great colors, if you ask me. And the menu was very affordable. I mean, I think my machaca was 160 pesos, which is, what I would expect to pay for a machaca at a restaurant, anything between 120 and 160. We enjoyed this wonderful agua de fresa, strawberry water, strawberry agua, which was absolutely yummy. So if you haven't tried Soco's Place, I totally recommend it. I don't know what their hours are for the rest of the day. My hunch is that they close early, but I could be wrong. Breakfast was to die for. And of course, I've been telling you about Carole King, but I also want to remind you that a few days after Carole King, I will be repeating my Day of the Dead presentation. And I have yet to produce a little promo for it, but it would go something along the lines of, if you think the big thrill of Day of the Dead is simply painting your face and walking around town looking fabulous, you are missing so much of the tradition, the history, the cosmology, the heritage, the kingdoms, the time it takes for you to die in traditional pre-Hispanic cosmology, where you go, who guides you through death. Is it scary? Is it wonderful? There are so many aspects of Day of the Dead that give you a glimpse into the way pre-Hispanic populations in Mexico used to think and feel about death and dying, that it is totally wonderful if you allow yourselves to learn a little bit more about the traditions and the history and why it is the way it is. Of course, if all you want to do is paint your face or paint some skulls, there's that option too. But if you want to go deep into unpacking Mexico's favorite traditional celebration, Tuesday, October 29, from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Joint Boutique Hotel is the place to be. And now, let's take a look at your own comments. Okay, let's see what we have. Ooh, you've been very quiet today. I love it. I see lots of good mornings. Which I appreciate. Pum pum pum. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, duh. And so my yarn stash. Here, let me get rid of the funny music. My yarn stash says to me, dude, you've been busy making little chingaderas, but it's going to get cold again. How about another shawl? So I figured, okay, if the yarn stash wants me to think big, it's time to think big. So I made another shawl. Da 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 da. And this one, of course, it's orange, because why make shawls of any other different color? And it opens up like this. It's got little motifs, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. And look, I put tassels on the fucker. Da 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 da. So this is, I cannot even manage this properly. There you go. Stay there and don't hit the microphone again. Anyhow, this is what I do to keep myself sane. And obviously, we are failing miserably. Let's see what we have. Of course, the Carole King presentation will be fun. I will get fired if I didn't make it fun. Thank you so much for mentioning that, Pamela. And Logan did something that I did not too long ago. This past Sunday morning, decided to abstain from my usual diet of U.S.-related political news and put on Carole King's Tapestry, and ended up having the best Sunday ever. Right? Oh, my goodness. There's so much magic in that album. It's not even funny. Let's see. Poo-dee-doo-poo-poo. Da-da-da. Soco's looks great. Sherry, I think you guys would love it. And Michael loves Soco's restaurant. And if Michael loves a restaurant, then that's something that I pay attention to. Michael has excellent taste.
What do you want to be reminded about?
Really? Siri, go away. We're having a broadcast.
Okay, I added go away. We're having a broadcast to the demo book list.
Okay, so one of my automatic robots decided to take over. Anyhow, let's see. Vicky contributes. Soco's online says that they close at 2:30 p.m. See, that sounds very, very, for those types of places that have great breakfasts, that sounds pretty common. I love it. Boom, boom, boom. I love the shawl. Thank you very much. So do I. I make them with big holes so that they're not too warm. Because if they're too warm, who needs a very warm shawl here in Puerto Vallarta? Da, 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 da. Linda says, love your shawl. Thank you very much. It's so habit forming, crocheting. Michael adds, Soco is closed on Mondays and has the 3 Bs. We love the 3 Bs. Do you know about the 3 Bs? Bueno, bonito, and barato. Good, pretty, and inexpensive. We like the 3 Bs in Spanish, so I love the fact that it is that. Let's see. Trudy says, we watched for the second time your walk to La Playita and enjoyed it as much as the first time we watched. Thank you again for sharing. It is my pleasure, Trudy. The latest walks are all on YouTube right now, and I keep putting reminders on the Facebook page because we can, and why not? Anyhow, thank you for watching, and really, thank you for enjoying all the things that we produce for you, Luna and I. And thank you for giving us some feedback that you enjoyed them. Every time we hear of a successful connection, it makes my day. It really does. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you so much for sharing existence of Coffee and Headlines with your friends and families. And thank you for coming back in the mornings. It really means a lot to me. This is it for today, but I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. For more Coffee and Headlines, take care.